All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you here today to this announcement and groundbreaking for OurPharma. OurPharma is the first of its kind in the great state of Arkansas. Never have we dedicated and broken ground for a business that was generic pharmaceutical company. We're very, very excited about this day in Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas and all of our great state of Arkansas. I'm Steve Clark. I'm President and CEO of the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce. So I've said to several of you, this is the Chamber of Commerce Day for two reasons. It's awfully nice, and we're very blessed to have that at the end of November. And secondly, this is a day we celebrate a more than a $30 million investment in our community, which will result in more than 100 jobs in our community, and which will result in the production of a product that will save lives in our community and our region and our great state. So we thank you, Pete Kohler, and your team for having that dedication and that willingness to make that investment in our community and our great state. It's my pleasure to introduce a number of our distinguished guests, but first and foremost, I should introduce, and I have the privilege of introducing, the governor of the great state of Arkansas. In my life, I've been fortunate to share the same periods of time basically as the governor has. He's a little younger than I am, but we've kind of grown up as contemporaries, and I've had the privilege of watching him lead. And this is a man who leads both with his mind, but also with his heart, and then with his courage. I introduced him a few years ago for a new company that came to Fayetteville downtown on the square, and I said then that this was a man that it was easy to follow because you knew of his character and you knew of his vision and you knew of his humanity. And if you've ever seen him around our great state, he's out there talking to young people and encouraging them, and he's going to the smallest of our communities, not the largest. He not too long ago was in my hometown, Leachville, and there's not much in Leachville. I want to tell you, we used to have a stoplight and they lost that, so there's not much in Leachville. That was his only claim to fame, but I've talked to some of my friends who still reside there, and they talked about the governor taking the time to come to the smallest of communities as well as the largest, and to come to celebrate what are the important things for Arkansans. This is a man who clearly knows that. This is a man we're very fortunate to have as our leader of our great state. Would you please help me in welcoming our governor, Asa Hutchinson?
This is really a terrific day, and what a day to have an outdoor ceremony and to kick off this incredible investment. Dr. Kohler, I just love your name, OurPharma. I mean, that's a great brand name. It's going to market well. Thank you for your investment and your leadership in this effort. This, Mayor, is a big day for Fayetteville. It really reflects the leadership here and the continued growth that we see in this incredible community. Congressman, I just look at you and it reminds me, I hope you all get a tax bill passed. And, you know, we've got a lot of growth happening in the state of Arkansas right now. We're excited about it, but we know that if we have that kind of reform at the federal level that you're leading on, it's going to help us to continue to have this kind of investment and growth in our state and our nation. So thanks for your hard work on it. This is a big win for Arkansas, and that's why I'm here today. It is simply a big win for the state of Arkansas because it reflects job creation that I know that Dr. Kohler will be talking about. It's going to create good paying jobs in this community, in this state, but it is also a capital investment that's even going to spur more job creation and grow our economy. But it also expands the biotech industry in this state. These are good paying jobs that involve research, involve technology, and these are one of the areas that we want to grow and expand as a state. We have a very diversified economy. Whenever you look at the fact that we have agriculture, we have manufacturing, we have tourism, but we also have the technology sector, and it's so critical linked to the university that we have expanded research opportunities. The research grant that your team has achieved will really be a good foundation here, Dr. Kohler. But finally, it's very important and a win for our state because it addresses a great need in our nation, and that is reducing the cost of prescription drugs. And through competition, through generics, through compounding, you give consumers an option in terms of their supply of prescription drugs. And so to have this foundation, this combination of jobs, of investment, of research, of meeting the needs of the consumer, this is a great day for Arkansas. The demand for generic drugs and compounding drugs will continue to increase in the future. So I'm confident that this foundation and with the workforce here will grow and expand even beyond what has been envisioned. This investment is a reality because of the partnership with the city, with the economic developmenters here. Steve, thank you for your leadership. But it's also about the state, and I want to recognize Mike Preston, who's going to speak here shortly, who he and his team have done an amazing job in supporting economic development across this state in every area. I've happened to have traveled a few countries with him, working toward marketing this state and bringing industry in, and I know the passion that he has. Finally, before I turn the microphone back, I just want to talk about the state for a second. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the history of our state, 3.6%. It actually got down to 3.4%. We have a diversified economy that's one of our strengths. But what I like to see in the last quarter, the Bureau of Economic Analysis out of Washington, D.C. reported that we had a 3.5% GDP growth here in the state of Arkansas, which was very high for us, but it also was 14th in the nation in terms of GDP growth. And Arkansas beat North Carolina, California, Georgia, and South Carolina. I'll take that any day. And so congratulations to the city, to the economic developers. Dr. Kohler, thank you very much for taking a risk here, investing capital, and I know that you're going to have great success. I congratulate you today.
Thank you very much, Governor. I now get the privilege of introducing our Congressman. Our Congressman has walked the streets that we've walked. He's been all over Northwest Arkansas as a mayor, then as a congressman, and as actually a soldier too, helping in various communities. He is one of those persons who talks our talk, walks our walk, and believes what we believe. And it makes it fun to have him representing us in Congress. And it makes it fun to know that he's taken our message to the Congress to say, these are the things we believe are important, and focus on those things that are important that improve the everyday lives of everyday citizens. Please welcome Congressman Steve Womack.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome everyone. What a beautiful Chamber of Commerce day that we have here this afternoon to celebrate this groundbreaking. I'm sure Steve Clark ordered up this weather, ideal for the circumstance, and congratulations on the accomplishment there with the weather. And let me also congratulate Governor Hutchinson and the work that he's doing as the chief executive for our state, the way he represents us, the passion that he brings to the job, the knowledge and the wisdom that he brings to the table every day, his ability to work with the Arkansas General Assembly, and just the overall feeling that you get by having Asa as the governor of our state and the credibility that Arkansas has. There should be no secret to it and no surprise that the unemployment rate is at almost at an all-time low, but it has been at an all-time low on his watch, and that great things continue to happen throughout our state, and particularly here in the Northwest Arkansas area. So, Governor, thank you for the great leadership that you continue to provide our state. I also want to congratulate Mayor Jordan for the opportunity to stand on ground here in the great city of Fayetteville. You know, once upon a time in my life, I wasn't so welcome down here when I was running a city a few miles to the north. But as the representative in Congress for this area, it is a source of pride for me to know that we have something of this level that we're breaking ground for here today. Asa, thanks also for the challenge on tax reform. Now, let me remind you that the House has acted. We have passed our version of tax reform, but I would also be remiss if I didn't say we passed our version of health care reform, too, and we saw where that went. So I noticed that no senators are here today, Senator Cotton and Senator Bozeman. They're both in Washington, as well they should, because it's up to the Senate now to decide what the next step is on tax reform, and we await that vote that will take place sometime this week. Then we'll go to conference committee and hopefully come out with a plan that will be good for all Arkansans, good for business, good for jobs, good for working class Americans. I have said many times that if there was a qualification that a member of the federal legislative body should bring to the table, it would probably be that of having been a mayor. Mayors have to work across party lines to try to develop consensus on the important matters that go on in that community, large and small. And in Northwest Arkansas, I had the great privilege for 12 years of running the city of Rogers, and I think by anybody's yardstick, we had a lot of success up there in trying to kind of transform the community. And when I went to Congress in 2011, I appeared on the floor one day and I just said, look, the perspective that I bring to this legislative body is that as being a mayor. Mayors don't believe in government shutdowns. They believe that the government was designed to work, and it's our job to make it work. Governors also recognize, or mayors also recognize, as governors do, that you have to find consensus. And that means that from time to time, you got to check some of your agenda at the door to try to find the common ground that can lead to good outcomes for the body. And so that's what I try to do every day in my job in Washington, is bring that practical mind, that mayor's belief that our situation will only get better if we work together to make good things happen. So it's a pretty good source of pride for me today to stand here on a beautiful day and to recognize the great work of Peter Kohler, to understand that we've got a beautiful facility that's going to go up here, and for all the reasons the governor mentioned. Job creation, not only jobs here, but jobs created to make this facility happen. The 120 plus good, high-paying jobs that will make OurPharma successful here on this ground. And the fact that we are doing something, will be doing something in this facility that will be good for humankind. So for all of those reasons, it's a great day to celebrate, as our governor has said, a win for the state of Arkansas. So I congratulate you. I'm honored and privileged to be here to represent you in Congress, and I look forward to seeing this facility grow up, become open, and to start producing for a greater and healthier America. Thank you so much.
We have a couple of other guests in the audience that I haven't recognized that I should. State Representative Jeff Williams is here. Jeff, where are you? Will you wave? There he is. Please give him a round of applause. We have the President and CEO of the Northwest Arkansas Council, Nelson Peacock, here. Would you please stand, Nelson? Give him a round. I now have the privilege of introducing what we in the Fayetteville business community call our partner. Our partner is a really fine man that we've come to know and work with now as he is now just getting ready to start the second year of his third term, so his 10th year in office. Lionel Jordan is one of those guys that he's there when the sun comes up and he's there long past after the sun goes down. He's a very good listener, which is a wonderful attribute for a public official. He is a very, very good listener. He is a master carpenter, if you don't know that about him, so he knows how to measure twice and only cut once. He is a man who believes that the role of government is to serve. And he sets that example in his personal life and in his life as our mayor. So it's a good example for the rest of our great citizens. I've had the privilege of working with my very dear friend for a long time. I always have the thrill, I have a thrill when I get the chance to introduce him, because this is really an outstanding elected official. Please welcome Mayor Lionel Jordan.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. What a wonderful day. Isn't this a great day? Yay! All right. Groundbreaking with OurPharma, and I want to thank Governor Hutchinson for his leadership in this state. Thank you very much. I want to thank Representative Womack for his leadership in Washington, D.C. I want to thank the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, Mike Preston, for his leadership And I certainly want to thank our economic development partner, the Chamber of Commerce President Steve Clark, and the Chamber of Commerce here. Thank you all very much. And I certainly particularly want to thank Dr. P. Kohler for who is the reason that we're here today. Dr. Kohler's investment of over $30 million and 100 jobs, that type of investment in our city with OurPharma meets our economic development goals in many ways. OurPharma is an Arkansas homegrown business. It's an Arkansas homegrown business that will add a great deal of value to our primary target industry sectors, specialized manufacturing. Not only does this business start here today, but it's a win not only for this city, but for the region, for the state, and I believe for the nation. And that's why a day like this is so important. This business will provide quality jobs and enhance the Fayetteville Commerce District using land sold to OurPharma by the city of Fayetteville. Dr. Kohler, thank you so much for your investment in believing in this city. We are proud to have you here. We're also proud of our Chamber of Commerce and our state for working with us so hard on this project. My friends, this city's open for business, and business is good. Welcome to the startup city of the South. Thank you all.
Mike Preston has been mentioned several times, and he is here. And he was afforded the opportunity to speak, and he said he will now. Oh, he first said, no, I don't have to, and now he's going to, and that's wonderful. Mike Preston and his team are workers. That's just the easiest way to describe them and the most accurate way to describe them. And they're working for our great state every day. They work hard for our great state, all 75 counties and all 350-plus cities. But they work. I will tell you, and we've seen the benefit here. I've seen the benefit in my job as the economic developer for the city. So I want to thank you and welcome you. Would you please welcome Mike Preston?
I appreciate the introduction. I'll try to keep it brief. I know we have a lot of speakers. I do want to say that, so those of you who don't know me, prior to doing economic development in Arkansas, I did economic, and this was in a previously sinful life, I did economic development in another state. I was recently back in that state for Thanksgiving, and I had the opportunity to sit down with some former colleagues, and they asked, man, Arkansas is really on the map. What are you guys doing? What's the secret? And I said, it's leadership. It's leadership at the top in the governor's office, the General Assembly, our congressional delegation, and our local economic developers. We've got a great team all throughout this state of Arkansas. An announcement like this today really highlights that. You've seen these all over the state. We're fortunate enough to be in Fayetteville to be announcing this today, but really it comes down to leadership and the partnerships that we have all throughout our state, and I thank everyone for that. I do want to recognize the team from Economic Development who's here. Drew Williams, who is the project manager on this, who spent many hours on it. Drew and Matt Twyford back there, y'all give a wave. Appreciate you guys for all the work that you've done on it. And then I talk about partnership. Aaron Burks and ADFA were a big part of this project as well. And Brad Henry, who's with him on his team today. It's a partnership from this team and everyone else, but it really comes down to Dr. Kohler. You guys had a decision to make. You looked around, you looked all over the country. You could have taken this project anywhere, but you're an Arkansas-based company and decided to grow here in Arkansas. I know that decision, it was a lot in your mind to weigh on that, and we were happy that we could come into the table and help you guys to start here, to grow here, and be successful here. So I congratulate you from the state's Economic Development Commission. We wish you the best. We're your partner in this. This is just step one of a long process. We want to see you guys grow and be successful. Steve, you guys are a great partner. We appreciate that, and we look forward to more of these announcements to come. Congratulations.
And now the man of the hour. Pete Kohler is a father. Pete Kohler is a grandfather. Pete Kohler is a husband. Pete Kohler is a physician. Pete Kohler is a healer. Pete Kohler is a visionary in the sense of dealing with the issue of healing. And Pete Kohler is a friend. And we're here today to celebrate the commitment of a friend to a grand idea to carry forward all those roles that he carries in life and to make a difference in our community as he's made a difference in the lives of all the people he's touched. Would you please welcome Pete Kohler?
Well, it's great to be here on such a nice day, and everybody's taking credit for it, so it's terrific. I couldn't be happier that we're able to start this company in our home state, Arkansas. It really means a great deal. We did have other opportunities to go elsewhere and appreciate the support we received from the state, but this is going to be something really special and good over the years, and I encourage you to come back in a few years and take a look at what's happened. We, meaning OurPharma, is represented here today. In addition to myself, we have Ramona McLean, who is our COO, right there in the front row, Brooke Culp, our CFO, and Adam Kohler, who is vice chair of our board and COO of another company, Wellsco. We have a number of other people who have been involved, but we're waiting to start the clock on when we start hiring a lot of people until we are official, and that will happen fairly soon. There are many people who have really helped make this happen, and it's taken a while to do that. And I can't thank everybody. Some have already been thanked, but I do want to mention that the state of Arkansas does a great deal to support people who are looking for where they should start a new company. And there were a couple of other really strong candidates for this particular position, but we really felt like this was the place where we could be successful. Governor Hutchinson, I think that starts with you. But Congressman Womack, you've been watching what's been going on here for quite a while. The mayor and his team has been nothing but supportive. I came from Portland, Oregon to retire in Arkansas. It was my first retirement. And I felt like I was sort of back in Portland many times. But really, the city has gotten behind this particular project and been unanimously voting for everything that needed support. Frankly, the state, through the AEDC and ADFA, have both also been supportive. You've heard Mike list off a number of the names from the AEDC, people who really helped all this happen. And ADFA also was equally helpful in many ways to get it started. Brad Henry and Aaron Burks, I don't know if they're here today or not, were helpful from that organization. We've been very fortunate to work with Josh Danish and Charlie Penix from Cromwell. They have been our architects on this. And we've also worked closely with Danny Bennett and William Bennett from Clark Contractors. You see some of the artwork there from Josh particularly. This project, you've heard the overused term win-win. This project is going to be a quadruple win. And I really think that the first who will benefit are the patients. You've heard a bit about this already. There are many drugs that are extremely in short supply. It has compromised the ability of hospital and clinics already, and I predict it will get worse as the population grows and ages, and OurPharma will be there to help fill in the gaps in drugs that are needed. We will start with compounding, which is mixing. Mostly sterile to sterile, but we will evolve into other areas such as the production of insulin. You've heard perhaps that I'm an endocrinologist, and I have been appalled in taking care of some of our Marshallese patients and how much it costs for a month's supply of insulin. It shouldn't cost that much. And some of these are coming off patent. We'll be able to produce them as generic drugs in the future at a much lower cost. So we will be able to fill the needs that are currently growing in these particular areas, and there shouldn't be needs for delaying surgery in the future as a result of what we can supply. Second group that will benefit, in addition to the patients themselves, will be the hospitals and clinics. They need the products, and the people who supply them need the products. Everybody has been supportive of us of getting started because there's so many things that are in short supply. And by the way, the hurricane hitting Puerto Rico made the situation worse because much of the production of drugs had moved to Puerto Rico as a result of the incentives to have businesses start there and be able to increase employment. The third group will be our investors, and we think they'll have an opportunity to do something very worthwhile. They will be able to grow their investment at the same time we're doing something to produce drugs that will be available at a lower cost to the people who need them the most. So we think they will certainly benefit. The fourth great beneficiaries, I think, will be the economy of the region, the state, certainly this particular area. This is something that really can grow. We're going to start out with somewhere between 10 to 12 employees in the very beginning. Now, people have asked me, when is the beginning? We're breaking ground symbolically today. We hope to be able to get the construction going in January or early February at the latest. There's a 10-month building. After you have built the building, you are forced to make sure all your production capacity is adequate. You have to wait for a couple weeks to make sure there's no growth, no particulate matter, no temperature variation, no humidity variation where you will be making your drugs or mixing your drugs. Then you get a chance to make your first round of supplies, which you can't sell. You have to wait for several weeks after that to make sure they're stable, sterile, secure, and that everything has continued to function well. We are in very good shape, I believe, because we have absolutely outstanding consultants working with us. Our facilities will be state-of-the-art. We ought to be able to get through all the inspections that we anticipate coming from the FDA, the State Pharmacy Board, and others with absolute flying colors. We think that we will be building something that's built to be the top of the line, best quality, and again, hopefully at very reasonable prices. I encourage those of you who have a chance to come down and look at this second diagram here. The first shows what our first building will look like. It will sit pretty much on this site right here. The subsequent buildings will expand to our south and actually in this other direction here to the point where they will take up at least 2/3 of this entire almost 15-acre property. So we think the future is extremely bright. There was an old song, "Future's so bright, I have to wear shades." I'm not in shades. We weren't sure where the sun would be for today outdoors, but it couldn't be a better day. Steve, I thank you for all the support from you and your group as well. The city, the chamber, everyone has been supportive. So thank you all, and we're looking forward to a very bright future. Steve, I'll turn it back to you.
Can we have our VIPs come up here to do this groundbreaking? I need the Congressman, the Governor, Dr. Kohler, your family, please come up. Our architect and our construction folks to come up. Mayor, please come up here and join us. And Mike, and see, so put on. We're safety conscious. Put on your hard hat. 1, 2, 3.
Well, obviously it's exciting for the city of Fayetteville, but it's exciting for the state as well because you got an investment of $31 million in capital. You've got new jobs that are being created that are high-paying jobs, engaged in research. But then also you're meeting the needs of consumers for generic and compounding drugs at a lower cost. And so this is good for Fayetteville, but for the state, and hopefully it'll be even beyond that in a market beyond Arkansas. So it's an exciting day. City of Fayetteville has been a great leader in this, and Dr. Kohler has bragged on the city of Fayetteville, and that partnership between the state and the city is really critical in having an economic success story like this.
Well, we just broke ground on a great investment in this city, OurPharma, who's going to come in. It's a pharmaceutical company. We are the startup city of the South, and this is one of the reasons that we are the startup city of the South. It's these kind of investments. Over $30 million. They're going to start with 10 jobs. I understand it could expand as high as 100 jobs before it's over. It starts right here in our city. It's going to branch out eventually into the region, in the state, into the nation. So it's a real great win, not only for this city, but the region and the state and as a whole. So great investments all around. Great partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. They worked real hard on this. The AEDC worked with us on that, and they've been a great partner. And of course, the governor's office. You saw Congressman Womack here, and so it's just a great partnership and a great win for everybody today.
They're looking for the drugs that are hard to get. And we believe we can produce. We'll be working to find the ones that are most badly needed, provide them at lower cost to the hospitals. They're middlemen in the purchasing end of things, but they need it too. So really this is going to be an advantage. And there are places where surgeries are scheduled or delayed because they can't get IV fluid, simple things. And we'll be able to help plug those gaps for this region to start with.